gonna tell you my name. My name's been lost to time. When the living, such as yourself, forget the dead, we forget ourselves as well. In 1904, Mr. J.Q. Thomas wrote a letter, and that letter became an advertisement in the paper. I answered that letter from Galway and got on a boat to New York City. In New York City, I got on a train to Denver, Colorado. I've been told I've only gone halfway across this country. Glory, it's huge. And brown. Mr. Thomas met me at the train in Denver. An hour later, I became his bride. He was 80 years old. I was 35. He had his youngest, Carrie. She's 11 this year. Almost a lady. I think the youngest hurt the worst when they go. Mr. Thomas insisted I send a telegram home to me mum. He said that she'd be worried. He was probably right. But we don't like telling the menfolk they're right, do we? It was raining that day on August 7th, 1904, when we got on the train in Denver. It was horizontal. It was coming right at our faces. When we got to Colorado Springs, there was 2 feet of snow on the platform. Mr. Thomas said that it was hail. He was probably right. He pointed to Pikes Peak and said, Mrs. Thomas, you can see that from your front porch, and you'll be home within an hour. We were riding up front by the engineer. Mr. Thomas is important in the train. He's a stockman. I don't know what a stockman does. He says it has something to do with switches and levers, but I didn't understand him. When I was on the train, the boat from Ireland, I used to ride up front on the bow, and we'd crest waves and we'd fall down, and sometimes my tummy would turn. Have you ever felt that, where your tummy turns? That's how it felt when the bridge gave way and our car went over the edge of the arroyo. The engineer used words no Christian woman should ever hear. And Mr. Thomas used some of the same. He latched onto me and I clung to Carrie as we were pulled from the car into the water. The water was boiling and angry. Carrie, she hit her head on a rock and went under. Mr. Thomas hit a log and the log took him. They found his body in La Junta. As the river took me, I remembered the telegram home to me mum. Home safe. I love you. And God bless. At least my mom had that. Newspapers across this country called it the second worst train tragedy in American history. I'm told that record still holds. In every newspaper, I was named as Mrs. J.Q. Thomas, as though I had no identity of me own. There was one, the Durango Herald, that named me. My name is Ethel Thomas, and I hope none of you forget me. Thank you.